Gillibrand.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General, Acting Attorney General, for being here.
Thank you.
I've listened to your testimony today, and I have a concern about your focus. New York City was the site of the last major terrorist attack against the United States at 9/11. We benefit greatly from what you've mentioned, this whole of government approach, yes. Where we integrate CIA, NSA, DOD, FBI, DOJ, all integrated seamlessly, NYPD, to keep our city safe. It's one of the biggest cities in the country. It's one of the most dynamic cities in the country, and our public safety is paramount. But I've looked at your record, and I am deeply concerned that you are not using this whole of government approach, because I see you slashing programs left and right that we know work for all sorts of things, from drugs to gun trafficking to community policing to cops program, slashing so many programs that I know work. So I want to take you through them and hear from you why your focus isn't where New York City and the state and the country need you to be, which is our public safety. So first of all, do you think that China, Iran, Russia want to do us harm and would undermine our elections?
Yes.
Why did you delete the whole department then that is supposed to protect against the undermining of our elections?
We spend a ton of time, a ton of money, a ton of man hours, a ton of resources on that very issue.
Yeah, but you canceled the FBI's Foreign Influence Task Force.
That's a task force. That's not. That's literally just a group.
It was
you know what a task force is. That's not getting rid of anything.
I was here in 2016. I know what happened. And after that, we did a whole of government approach.
Yes.
We put experts in at CISA. We put experts in at the FBI, and we put experts in at the Department of Defense. Together, whole of government approach, they went state by state by state to make sure that our electoral infrastructure was sound. However, your department and this administration has aggressively fired all the people that were put in charge of this. So they were the people at the FBI in charge of it. So why have you dismissed those operations?
Where that failed, there were no state and local involved. It was all just a bunch of federal people, mostly out of Washington, D.C., okay? And the FBI agents were all Washington, D.C. The way they were agents, not around the country where we needed them. So the way that we're addressing it by closing down that task force is by having HSTF set up in every single, including in New York City. Every single agency, every single state now has a HSTF, and that is one of their main focuses. And it does work with state and local.
I want a complete report on this, because I don't have confidence that you are doing what needs to be done, because if all the 300, 400 expert people that were in our previous administrations, multiple administrations, Democrat and Republican administrations, if none of them are good and you're starting over from scratch, that doesn't sound like the recipe for success.
I didn't say none of them were good. That's not what I said.
Well, they've all been dismissed, and they've all been fired in all three areas.
That's not true. They have not all been dismissed.
We fired the people from DOD. We fired the people from CISA. We fired the people at the FBI. They were all dismissed.
They were not all dismissed. Many of them are still here.
Ask for a briefing, look into it, and give a report to this committee. Because I'm telling you, if you agree that our adversaries do not have our goodness in mind, they don't have our protected elections in mind,
yes.
I need laser-like focus on solving this
You're getting
problem.
laser-like focus.
All right, I'd like a report on that. Second issue, gun trafficking. We have been working so hard as a federal government to stop the flow of illicit guns into our communities, where someone can sell guns out of the backs of their trucks from some criminal gun dealer who's trying to get these guns into the hands of criminals. And we are supposed to get data every year so we can show that our gun trafficking laws are working. These new enhanced laws where police officers can now go cross state lines to do their investigation. Why are you not giving me the data about gun trafficking? I need to know if it's working. I need to know if these cases are being prosecuted. And I can't even get data out of your department.
Well, the cases are being prosecuted. We did.
Will you give me the data so I can assess it?
I don't know what data you're talking about.
The number of weapons that have been seized, the number of cases that are being prosecuted. We keep track of how many weapons have been seized that are trafficked, and I'm waiting from your department over a year to get that data.
To the extent there's data that we're required
Will you send it? Okay,
no,
next point.
Okay.
I got like 5 points. I only get 5 minutes. Next point, community violence intervention grants. You are slashing these community violence intervention grants. They work. We know they work. One of them was to New York for $4.2 million, slashed. It prevents youth violence. These are programs that are working. Did you analyze whether this program was working before you slashed the funding?
Yes, there's still a ton of funding for those programs.
Not
They do
the
work.
ones in
They
New York.
do.
You just deleted them. Delete, delete, delete. It's shocking.
It wasn't delete. That
Okay,
is
well,
absolutely
4.2
not true.
was deleted for the Local Initiative Support Corporation that funds.
It's not a deletion. It's just that we're not seeking funding for it through this exact
No,
process.
I'm
for that
seeking
exact.
funding for it. I've asked for the money, and we've gotten grants for this, and you've just suspended this grant program.
I'm happy to work with you to make sure we're spending the grant money in the right way.
I don't have any more time, but there's a community-oriented policing grant cuts as well, the COPS funds. This is something our police officers and our community policing development micro grants, they benefit from it. De-escalation training grants, programs that work, our police officers need it, and then drugs. We have an anti-heroin and anti-methamphetamine task force, and we need to be funded, and it's not being funded. So
It is being funded, absolutely. There's a different amount of funding, but it is being funded.
No, you've eliminated funding for both the anti-heroin, anti-methamphetamine task force. I'm sorry, which is the task force that stops the trafficking of heroin, fentanyl, and the very long word I can't pronounce.
I mean, Senator, there's nothing more important to President Trump and to this Department of Justice than combating the illegal flow of narcotics. So to the extent that there is a particular funding revenue stream that is not being funded the same way, I commit to you that it is of the highest priority to combat drug trafficking.
Last is the Public Safety Officer Benefit Program. You say, we just had Police Week, you say you stand with law enforcement. When you do not support this program and when these funds are not getting back to the loved ones who have lost their police officer loved one, it is not right. I need you to focus on this. I need you to get this right.
We're committed. Thank you, Senator.
What you just watched is what happens when a senator arrives with 5 specific programs, 5 specific funding cuts, and 5 minutes on the clock. She did not come to debate philosophy. She did not come to ask about Epstein or slush funds or settlement language. She came with a list: election security, gun trafficking data, community violence intervention grants, COPS funding, the Public Safety Officer Benefit Program, 5 issues, 5 minutes, 1 witness who kept telling her what she was saying was not true. Read that exchange carefully, because the pattern across all 5 issues is identical, and the pattern is more significant than any single exchange within it. Senator Nydia Velázquez, representing New York City, the site of the deadliest terrorist attack on American soil, opened with a framework. She named the whole of government approach, the integration of CIA, NSA, DOD, FBI, DOJ, and local law enforcement that was built specifically to keep cities like New York safe. She said she was deeply concerned that Blanche was not using that approach, that she saw programs being slashed across every category she was about to name, and that she wanted to hear from him why the focus was not where New York City and the country needed it to be. That is the structure of the entire exchange. She defines the standard whole of government, proven programs, coordinated approach, and then she applies it to 5 specific cases and measures the gap between the standard and the record.
The first issue was election security. She asked whether China, Iran, and Russia want to do harm to the United States and undermine its elections. Blanche said yes. She then asked why the FBI's Foreign Influence Task Force, built specifically to address that threat, was deleted. Blanche said it was literally just a group, that it was concentrated in Washington, D.C., rather than distributed across the country, and that it had been replaced by Homeland Security task forces set up in every state, including New York.
Read Blanche's answer carefully. He did not say the threat had diminished. He said the structure for addressing it had changed. He said the old task force was Washington-centric and not well integrated with state and local partners. He said the new structure is better distributed. Velázquez did not accept that answer. She said that the 300 to 400 expert personnel across the 3 agencies, DOD, CISA, and the FBI, had all been dismissed and fired. Blanche said that was not true. Many of them are still there. She said from DOD, from CISA, from the FBI, fired. He said not all dismissed, many are still here. That factual dispute is now in the official record. 2 people in the same hearing giving directly contradictory accounts of whether the personnel who built the election security apparatus are still employed. There is no resolution of that dispute within the transcript. Velázquez asked for a report. Blanche said he was committed to laser-like focus on the problem. The question of who is right about the personnel remains open in the record. The second issue was gun trafficking data. She said she had been waiting over a year to receive data from the department, the number of weapons seized, the number of cases prosecuted, under enhanced gun trafficking laws that allow police to cross state lines for investigations. She said she cannot assess whether the laws are working without the data. Blanche said the cases are being prosecuted. He asked what data she was talking about. She specified weapons seized, cases prosecuted. He said to the extent there is data they are required to provide, and then she cut him off because she had 5 points in 5 minutes. That exchange produced something specific. The senator named a 1-year delay in receiving data the department is, in her characterization, required to provide. Blanche did not deny the delay. He did not commit to a date for providing the data. He asked what data she was talking about after she had specified it. That question and that answer are in the transcript together. The third issue was community violence intervention grants. She said the department slashed a $4.2 million grant to New York for community violence prevention programs she said are proven to work, specifically with youth violence. She asked whether the department analyzed whether the programs were working before cutting the funding. Blanche said there is still a ton of funding for those programs. She said not the ones in New York. He said it was not a deletion, it was a decision not to seek funding through that exact vehicle. She said she had asked for the money, received grants, and the program had been suspended. Read that exchange carefully. Blanche's distinction, not a deletion, a decision not to seek funding through this vehicle, is a real distinction in how federal grants work. A program can continue under a different funding mechanism. His offer to work with her to make sure grant money is being spent in the right way is a real commitment. What the exchange does not contain is a specific commitment to restore the $4.2 million to the New York program she named. The fourth issue was the COPS program, community-oriented policing grants, de-escalation training, micro-grants for community policing development. She said police officers need these programs. She did not get a response. Her time was running out. The fifth issue was the Anti-heroin and Anti-methamphetamine Task Force. She said it is not being funded. Blanche said it is being funded. There is a different amount, but it is being funded, and there is nothing more important to President Trump and the department than combating illegal narcotics. He committed to her that drug trafficking is the highest priority. He did not address the specific funding differential she named. The last issue she raised was the Public Safety Officer Benefit Program, the fund that provides payments to the families of officers killed in the line of duty. She said the funds are not reaching the families. She said it is not right. Blanche said, "We are committed." The exchange ended. Two things can be true at the same time. So here is where this exchange leaves us, and it is genuinely two-sided. Was Velasquez conducting targeted oversight, pressing the acting attorney general on 5 specific proven programs and establishing on the record that the department could not confirm it, analyze them before cutting funding? Or was she running a constituent services hearing, dressed as oversight, advocating for New York funding without engaging the substantive case for restructuring? Was Blanche defending a department restructuring its approach to be more effective, distributed rather than Washington-centric, prioritized rather than scattered, committing in good faith to address her concerns? Or was he answering the category instead of the question on every issue she named, offering commitments without specifics and leaving a 1-year data gap without a date for closing it? Two different stories. Same hearing, same official record. Tell me in the comments which version you walked away believing. If you stayed this long, subscribe. The data has not arrived. The report has not been filed. The record is still open.